What's up YouTube? Richard here with a review slash my experience with the Super Console X systems. So how it all began was last year I ordered myself the Super Console X Pro. I'd done a little review and a few watches of videos and stuff on these, and the idea was I wanted something that had all the retro games on it, and this thing is built in with 50,000 retro emulators from, I don't know, Sega, Nintendo, Amiga, right up to PlayStation, PS1, PSP, lots of other emulators, there's all sorts in there. But basically, this ticked all the boxes. Ordered one of these from AliExpress. I think you can get them from Amazon as well, and eBay and various other places. Cost about £80, and I ordered mine with the wired Nintendo controllers because I didn't really want the PlayStation wireless ones. I wanted something a bit more retro, and that's what I have here. Only thing is, obviously, you've got to be able to, have this plugged in and still be able to reach it. The thing is, with everybody having like 70-inch TVs these days, you don't really want to be that close to the telly. So this did actually prove a little bit of a problem. I had to have everything, so all the wires stretched. But yeah, no, it was a cracking thing. Downside to the controller is when I wanted to play PlayStation games, it only has 2 shoulder pads on it. It doesn't have like L2 and R2. So that was a bit of a letdown when I was playing some of the games that required extra buttons. Just couldn't play on them. And this worked a treat. It's a really, really good console. Up until maybe like 6 months in. I think it was my fault actually. So it has an SD card inside it, and I took it out and put it into my computer so I could back it up. And my computer, I'm running still old Windows 7, so it just wouldn't recognise it. So I took it round to my dad's house, and we plugged it into his, and lo and behold, everything was there, which was fine. I thought, well, while I'm here, let's get rid of some old games that I don't play on. Usually like sports games. It's not something that I'm interested in, like football and boxing games. They're just games I'm never going to play on. And I thought, well, I'll get rid of them, make room, and then if I extend my knowledge to figure out how to put in emulators slash other games on here that maybe isn't on here, I'd be able to do that. And somewhere in the process, I think I deleted an emulator of some sort because Amiga games stopped working. A few other older sort of games where, to be quite honest with you, it was fine because I could still play on a lot of the games I wanted to play on, like SNES, Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive, Genesis, all that sort of stuff. So it worked fine, but then a problem that also occurred, and I don't know if it was down to me or if this thing is it's like a memory problem or if it's just getting too hot and something stopped working, but I couldn't save games anymore. And what I mean by that is when you play on this, if you open Donkey Kong and you save in Donkey Kong on that game, it'll not remember that when you go to play it next time. What you have to do is the console itself has a save state section somewhere in there, and you basically just hold a couple of buttons down and push a button and it just saves. So basically it just almost screenshots at that point that you're playing the game, and then next time you upload that game to play on it, you just click load. Just as it's literally opening up, and it literally just glitches straight back to that exact point you were last playing. So it's great because you don't have to like go into a load menu and do all this stuff and like go to a point in the game to save. You just save and load at any point. As I say, it was a fantastic console. It still works. It just cannot save anymore for some reason. I can still load the old points that I had, but just for some reason you click save and a little hourglass just starts spinning, and I don't know, it just doesn't work anymore. So I was getting a little bit disappointed that I was playing games and I couldn't save anymore. So I needed to do something about that. Just to bear in mind that I bought that end of 21, it was Christmas time, and then 2022 I ordered one of these. This one is called the Super Console X NES, but every time I do research on NES, it just comes up with Cube. So if you search Super Console X Cube, it brings this exact same thing up, but this one's just called NES, which makes sense because look at it, it looks like a Nintendo, which I never had, by the way, so I can't compare it personally, whereas this looks like a SNES, like a miniature SNES, and that's what that is. But yeah, it has the little pop-up thing with the 4 ports for your controllers. So yeah, I ordered this. This one came with 90,000 games. I guess with it being slightly bigger and a bit more vented, possibly it cools down a bit better, because there's, you know, problems with this thing getting too hot with overplaying. I mean, I don't overplay games, so that thing's never got too hot. But this one, I guess the idea is, yeah, it cools down a bit better, but there's no fan in it from what I understand. So when I ordered this one with the PlayStation wireless controllers. So I ordered these ones, came with 2. It comes with a little Bluetooth receiver that goes inside there. You can hear it, it's just in the where the battery's going here. So that goes in there. Straight away I noticed a problem with this one. It was a problem not so much with the console from like the people that were selling it, because it works with the wireless controllers, but first thing I did was try it with one of my 8-bit do wireless SNES controllers. I've got 2 of these. I've got the American style one and I've got the UK style one there. These are cracking controllers. I've got everything. It's got the double shoulder pads. It plays with the PlayStation stuff, and then obviously it's got analog sticks as well. But to use them, you need Bluetooth receivers. So I ordered the 8-bit do ones. So I've got a pair of them as well. So basically, I've got a pair of them, and I was using them with the Pro, and they worked an absolute treat. But again, like I say, I had a problem with this, with the save state stuff. So I ordered one of these. Plugged this in when I got it, beginning of this year, 2023. It literally arrived, well, in fact, I think it arrived just before Christmas, so actually it was like an early Christmas present to myself. Tried to put these on, and like half of the buttons were just not working with this. When I say the buttons don't work, everybody's like, oh, all you gotta do is just map it. Trust me, I mapped these to work with it in the main menu, where you'll see like where everything is, and it worked fine. What I'll do is I'll do a demonstration in a bit and you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically, like, button A was acting like where X should be, so some of the buttons were in the wrong place, and then I couldn't like push start to go into just into the pause menu and like do stuff. So basically, when you were starting some games up that required you to push start to get going, I couldn't even get a game started. It's really annoying. But yeah, the hotkey, which at this point was select and start to get back into the main menu, was working fine. So it's almost like the keys were working for emulate to get back into the menu, and everything was working fine there. Even when I opened the menu, which you do select and in this case X or blue or whatever, it go into the normal menu. You could do everything you should, but when playing the games, the buttons weren't responding with that, and I did everything that everybody said. Oh, just all you got to do is go into the menu. Just got to recalibrate all the buttons to do what you do. Honestly, I tried everything. Now, again, it's probably just a little bit of not enough knowledge on my behalf to get it to work. And I'm sure somebody who's very tech savvy would probably be able to do it. But it worked fine on the old console and not on this one. So maybe I got a shit match or what. I don't know. But it wasn't working, so I was stuck using the wireless PlayStation remotes, which worked fine. I've got a battery pack down here that I can charge, so like I say, I could actually sort of stand using this for a little bit, but as soon as I needed to use a start button, it just kept annoying me. I paid very little money for this one. I think total with delivery and everything included was about 45 quid, so it's nearly half what I paid for the old one. Yeah, it's more up to date and has a few things, but then I'm having these other problems. Now I can't, it's not like I could get a refund because of what's going on with this, because it does work with this remote, so that's not a problem. Just so you know, I actually did get some money back for this from AliExpress, because they sent me 2 controllers but only 1 receiver. Long story short, as they were basically saying that they wanted me to pay like 50 pence into so that they could send me a new receiver or a couple of new controllers out or something, and I weren't willing to pay any more money. So in the end, I went into a dispute and ended up getting something like 13 quid back. So this thing cost me like 30 quid-ish or something like that. So it's not bad, because I could probably just resell it back on. There's nothing wrong with it. I'll sell it back on and probably just get my money back, if not make a little bit of money. And I got a spare couple of spare controllers, and I won't lie, and I probably shouldn't say this on here, but I'm going to say it anyway, because so what, I've already had the money given back. It turns out that the receiver does actually do both controllers, and I think I tested it and they do work. So I ain't conned anybody, because they sent me the money back. If they'd have just told me that in the first place, I would have tried it and it would have worked. They were happy to give me a small refund for the mistake on both our behalves, and it wasn't till afterwards I was looking in the box and there's a little sticker that says 1 receiver for 2 controllers. So anyway, so I've got 2 controllers and 1 receiver, and it still works. So what did I do? Right, so I went on, I did a bit of research, found out what's the best console I could get that's not gonna cost me an arm and a leg. Basically, you can build these PCs yourself and all sorts of stuff. But I needed something that was in the box, ready to go. I didn't have to do anything, you just plug and play, and is it gonna work with these controllers? I ended up going for the beelink GT King, and it looks like that. So this thing, you know, it doesn't look like an old retro console of any sort, but it's the king. So it's got chipsets inside it that like can withstand like quite a lot of hard frame rates and stuff like that. So basically like Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast, it's a few of the sort of like high demanding games. This thing is supposedly the king, and looking at it, it is pretty much the king. So I've played on this probably for a good 2 weeks now, tried loads of random just games, stuff that I hear that's high demand, probably not stuff I'm really going to play on, but I gave it a go. Obviously cost me a little bit more, but basically I wanted something with even more games on it. So this has got 117,000 games on the little SD card. So there, look, fake style SanDisk / Samsung, but yeah, that is a 265 gigabyte, if that's true gigabyte, I don't know, but it's got a lot of games on it. Anyway, there's 117,000 games on there. Right, so what did I pay for this? I paid close, but not exactly, close to £200 for this. Yeah, out of my wallet, but it's for me, you know. I just decided to do a bit of a review because I want you guys to know how someone in the real world has coped with these machines, and you know, what are the pros and the cons, because you know, some people will complain about one thing about them. I want people to know what I've had problems with, but also my, you know, positive experiences with them. I would say try with one of these first or something, see if you like it, because what's 45 quid? Alright, it's a lot of money to some people, it's a lot of money to me in lots of ways, but for what you get, you'll sell this back on, no problem. They're going for silly money on eBay, so go on AliExpress and buy one from there. Alright, yeah, you'll be looking at nearly a month before it turns up, but it will arrive. And I use my Google account, so that I weren't worried about, like, you know, money coming out of my account and then something not showing up. You can be covered. So if you've got a Google account, just make sure you've got your card set up on there, you're good to go. But yeah, really good. It feels good, it feels really nice. These little eyes light up green when it's on. Not that it matters, but nice little gimmick thing. You've got 2 USB 3s, but again, you're only plugging your dongles in there for your controllers. Anyway, with this one, I ordered it with, they kind of looked a bit more grey on the website. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm colourblind. I hope not, because I'm a Sparky, so that's not good, is it? But yeah, I went for these ones because I wanted a little bit more of a retro feel, like a PlayStation 1 / PlayStation 2 style controller. Whereas, you know, these ones are black, they're a bit more PS3 style, aren't they? You know what I mean? Because they're black. These ones, it just reminded me a bit more of the original PlayStation, even though the buttons are still, or the whole thing is more PS2. But yeah, it came with 4 of these, and each one, as you can hear, came with each USB dongle. Daughter had a go with one of these the other day, and it worked fine. So what I will say is, if you are going to get one of these controllers, which I really like because it's retro, you know, it reminds you of the old SNES, it's wireless, it just takes the modern charger that comes with like your Samsung phones or whatever that you have. But again, if you order one of these, make sure you order a receiver, because these I don't believe they have Bluetooth built into them. So these talk to each other. You plug that in, obviously it gets power, there's a little button on the end, you push that, you push the button on here, and they talk to each other and they become connected, and then every time you turn this on, which you just power it up, it'll, in fact, you can see, I push start, yeah, it's trying to find something now, so that'll just flash for ages now until it finds that one. But as I say, it came with 4 of these, so I've got plenty of controllers now. I'm glad the kids like these ones, because I don't particularly like them, and I've heard a lot of people say that on reviews. It's like, kids want to play on it, give them the crap remotes. So I saved the good ones for me. Just bear in mind you're going to need AAA batteries, a pair of them for every controller. So buy rechargeable ones, because you're going to fly through them. I'm literally just going to set my camera up on the TV. I'll go through the Super Console X Pro first. I'll talk through the pros and the cons of what I like about it and the things I'm having trouble with. I'll then do the same, a quick one over with the Console X NES, and I'll show you what I mean by like why my 8-bit do controllers aren't working. And then a quick one over this. The menu's a little bit different on this because it's the new version. So I do actually like the old menu, but the new menu's not bad either. It's really easy to use. I was almost tempted to like sort of backtrack and go to the old menu, but I do like the new menu. It is quite nice. So we'll go through that. I played a game yesterday. It's one that Wicked Gamer loves to use as an example of a high demanding game. I forget what it's called, but you'll see what I mean when I bring it up. It crashed on me, and I was doing really well on the game. It wasn't that bad. Music played fine, because I have noticed that PlayStation, like background music just doesn't play, so everything's really quiet. So when you're playing like Die Hard Trilogy, and you like that like background music that gets you into it, none of that there. Also movie clips don't play as well, so sometimes you've just got like a blank background with the menu. The game plays fine, but and voices and people talk and stuff. Also played like Tomb Raider 2, no music, and when I was like in the house at the beginning and I was doing the training at the beginning, Lara was supposed to say something like, if you want to do a jump, hold R2. I can't remember what she says anymore. It just goes, it just makes like a stupid noise. So it is a bit of a letdown with games like, so some high demanding games, they've obviously made compromises to let those games be put on here, but they're just not working at 100%. But it's not enough to put me off. I'm happy to still play and enjoy. Right, let's get to it. I'll set the camera up on the TV and we'll go through each one. So normally there'd be a bit of an opening video there, so it doesn't take too long. As I say, some of the emulators have stopped working on here for some reason. So I'm just going to connect my 8-bit do controller first. Right, so I've connected my 8-bit do SNES controller. So as you can see, just flick through the menu. So I'll do a quick, we'll start at all games. And as you can see there's 50,000 games. A couple of my favourites. So Amiga, which was one of my favourites because I do like Amiga, but for some reason Amiga has decided to be a bit of a git and not work anymore. So when you try to load up the games now on Amiga, it does this. So yeah, it don't like Amiga anymore for some reason. So we'll ignore that one, but that did have 1,000 games on it, just over. But they did work when I bought it. Amstrad, something that don't know what to do with me, I don't know. Arcade games, 2,500 games in there. Pang being one of my favourite ones. I haven't played on it in a while, but let's click on it. Remember when I said that there's the select button does something in something? Well, in this case, you click select and you get a credit. So I don't know if you can see down there, there's some credits, yeah, 3 credits in, 4 credits. Push start and off you go. So let's get started. Let's actually put some volume on. I thought it was going to be too loud. Oh, look at that, it's found two of us. I don't know how to put 2 players in. Anyway, I'm not going to get into any glitches because I've never experienced it. Anyway, yeah, so to come out you just select start and start again and it comes out. So let's come out of arcade, go across, we've got all the Ataris. What's this one? We've got the Atari 7800. Again, don't really recognise that. I'll not go too much into all this. 73 games in there, Atari ST, looks very much like the Amiga, doesn't it that? Commodore 64, very popular. And then you get to like things like Dreamcasts. High demanding stuff on the Dreamcast is gonna get a bit. It's gonna slow you down. But there's not. Look at that. There's no normal game. There's hardly any games on Dreamcast on here. This is another sort of arcade stuff. So there's quite a lot of these. As far as I'm aware, these all work absolutely fine. Game Watch. Something that's not Game Gear, whatever that is. Game Boy, there we go, we're hitting sort of my area now, and then Game Boy Color, then Game Boy Advance. I've got them the wrong way around really, haven't they? And then you've got Sega Genesis, 890 games there. And then if I just nip across, it says Sega Genesis again, but that's Mega Drive. But I think, somebody correct me in the comments, did the UK have the Mega Drive and the Americans have the Genesis or something like that? Because I'm pretty sure they're exactly the same. It looks like the same console, but one says Genesis, and where that should say Mega Drive, it says it up there. I'm sure we had the Mega Drive. Master System, so that's like going back before the Genesis, Mega Drive, whatever. MAME, so that's more arcade stuff. Nintendo 64, so this is where a lot of people are saying this high demanding stuff is not going to work. I tried 007, World Is Not Enough, and by God it was it was really, really slow. But it was unplayable. Again, it just doesn't have the chipset inside the actual console that I've physically got here. It just can't keep up with it. Again, Nintendo's DS, which sounds like, yeah, that should be fun. You go on some games on here, you can't really play them because they require touchscreen stuff. Also, sometimes it turns it on its side and it just didn't really work. And I think if you can go into settings and do stuff. I don't really know what that is, Neo Geo. Again, I've heard of it, not something that I think UK is like a big UK thing. Then you got your Nintendo, so plenty of games in there, work fine. And then there's this hacks thing, so I think a lot of the games that other people have done things with and made them. Neo Geo, so we're back to the Neo stuff again, Pockets, Turbography, Pokemon, so Tamagotchi, yeah, like a Pokemon Tamagotchi, I guess, I don't really know. Ports, what was that again? That's just random games, I don't really know. I mean, was Doom and Doom 2 in there? And then Flashback, so I don't know what that is all about, what Ports is. You got your PSP stuff, Metal Slug, I played on that. I say PlayStation works fine on here, but there's only 57 games, but they're all just the popular ones, so you can Crash Bandicoots and stuff like that. Anyway, we'll come out of that one. Sega 32, so yeah, not much on there. Sega CD, 2 games on that one. Again, some really old Sega system I've never even heard of. You got your SNES, so that's probably one of the more popular ones I played on here. Super Graffiti, blah 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 blah. So what I will go do now is I'll just nip into like SNES and play Super Mario World, and I'll show you what I mean by the whole save state thing, and you'll see in the bottom corner where it's like having trouble. So if I you've got these save slots, and all you do is you just hold select and you just go across, and you can go into as many of these as you want. Right, we're in save slot 30. And normally, if you want to save, you don't have to be doing anything. You literally can save at that point, and all you do is you hold select and you push R1 and you click save. But look what it's doing. I don't know if you can see it down there, just here. It just says saving. So there's something wrong with saving now. And for some reason I can't save. Normally that would have just instantly saved, and then next time I just click select an L1 and it would load as long as you're on the right save slot. And I can give you an example of that. So we're in Game Boy, we're in Leaf Green, and I've got save state, number 0 slot available, and if I can load, there we go, look at that. It's just loaded straight back into the last time I was playing the game. And all I have to do is now is just like start playing the game. You know, go into my bag, I've got all my crap in there. Then I'll just show off my Pokemon. What we got? Mewtwo. He's only like the biggest bad boy on the game. So yeah, so it's just, I've got quite far on this game and now I cannot save any further. I'd like to keep playing the game and I can't save any further on that. So here we are, this is the Super Console X NES. Now, as I say, I was very happy with this. And it works with the remotes that they gave me. So that's the opening video that you're going to get with every console that you buy from this whole King Hank Super Console, whatever. They're all going to be pretty much the same. I just, for some reason, I just must have got fed up of seeing it when I was playing it on the old console, on the X Pro, so I would just go in the menu and I just took it, turned it off. So at the moment, while that's just loading, it'll come on in a second, it'll look identical to how the Pro one did. And I've plugged my 8BitDo USB receiver in, and I've got my 8BitDo controller here, and it's connected. If you can see the LEDs on. And look, you see it's working fine. So everything works alright in here. There is a few small differences. I don't remember seeing that last time on the other one, so there's another console that I don't remember seeing before. That one was on there, that was on there, that was on there as well. Sinclair, I don't remember seeing them before. And there's like 1,100 games on there, and there's this, it's all Spectrum, so Sinclair Spectrum. There's 20,000 games in there. That wasn't on before, so that will account for the extra, or some of the extra games that was probably not in before. Jump to that. So yes, we've got a couple of extra consoles there. Let's go across. You've now got Super Nintendo hacks. Look at these, there's like these weird Super Mario games. Ones with like characters that shouldn't be in there. I've seen ones with like Sonic the Hedgehog. Right, yeah, so I can't find the one I wanted. But anyway, you've got that on there now that wasn't on there before. Some of these were all on here. Now there's more PlayStation. There was only 57 games on the last one. This one's got 567. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as an example, because this is how I found out that this controller didn't work. I was nipping down and I was like, oh, is there any games on there that I really like? Yeah, what else we got? Oh, yeah, look at that Die Hard trilogy. That one wasn't on the other one. So yeah, I was like, I remembered like, oh, this loaded taking a while to load up. Yeah, I'm sure normally you'd just be smashing the start button. Like, come on, get started. Where's the music? Where's the music? Do 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 do. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'll shut up. But anyway, listen.
Let me drive. Happy trail.
So there's sound, just no music, and I can't get started. It's like, eh? And then I was like, oh yeah, we'll smash the what would be the X button. Okay, that's fine. Maybe the start button never got this game going before. Maybe it just required the start, just the X button. So it comes on, yeah, okay, new game. There was no movie, by the way. I know I didn't let it play, but there was no movie. And I used to always be a bit of a naughty boy when I used to play this. I used to just get like ultimate lives. So to do it, you've got to go into the start menu. Look at that. Start menu is like turning the guy that way. And it's... Oh man, I'm getting shot to hell now. X button's working. You know, whatever. Right, let's get out of here because I'm going to die before I even got started. I've walked down the wrong area, you know, there. Let's just shoot this guy. So I've lost a life already, but anyway. That's besides the point. And now normally you just jump. Now, that is definitely... Triangle used to always be the jump button. And then... Oh, you go away. Yeah, whoa. I'm not very good, yeah. I'm not very good at games. That's why I used to have to cheat. But yeah, the side buttons aren't working. In fact, the jump button is now L1. So like, you shouldn't have to push L1 to jump. So anyway, like the mapping of the buttons, I thought, it's me, I've buggered up somewhere. Let's get into the menu and let's map these buttons. So I did. And the mapping of the buttons is not the issue. The buttons all map up absolutely fine. And what I did is, to prove it is eventually, after I complained to the company that I bought the console from, I did what I should have just done in the first place. Unplug my 8-bit do bit and get the controller that came with it. So I gets it out, I gets the receiver, this tiny little thing here. Let's pop that in the console, get my batteries, pop my batteries into the controller, turn the controller on. Come on, wake up. There we go, it's alive, woohoo! So it's working, and then so go back into the game. And these controllers work absolutely fine. So what? It's almost like it just doesn't like 8-bit do controllers for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Dyad Trilogy. God, I love this game. So, and I pushed the start button then, and it worked absolutely fine. And let's have a quick look, see if all the buttons do what they should do. Oh, and I'll let you watch the video that doesn't play. If you remember, if anybody who played this game like a million times, normally there'd just be a little screen shot of a little video of like a limousine coming in front of the building there. But it isn't. So let's see, are all the buttons working? I mean, I know they will, but...
NYPD! Hey, this isn't even my testing.
Bang, jump, side swipe, flick, yeah, that's working fine, that one's working fine. Let's go
Don't let him
sideways.
get away.
Make sure you chuck a grenade with that button. Yeah, so it's a... And start menu comes up. I can put my cheats in now. So anyway, so that was a letdown because I was so adamant I want to use. I can't remember what I paid for these. In fact, I might have even got them as presents or something, but these are really good quality controllers of these things. And I just couldn't stand knowing that I can't use them with my console and I've got to just use these crappy PlayStation ones. So that's why I then upgraded to the GT King. So, let's show you what the GT King looks like. So now you know my pros and my cons on the last two consoles. And the screen goes off, you see the green lights come on when it's thinking. Anyway, you'll get the same video at the beginning and this thing. And I can now use my 8-bit do controls. Same video app, sort of video at the beginning. As I say, all the consoles just come like that. This one's a little bit quicker at loading stuff up as well. Like I just feel like that was much quicker getting started. But then this menu is a lot different, more up to date. So there's music and stuff. As for consoles, I don't really know what some of these are. Let me just turn it on. But yeah, there's all these random consoles. Sega Saturn. Don't remember seeing Sega Saturn on the other one, but only 15 games. I think some of the games that are maybe in the Mega Drive and stuff on the CD, I think they were just a little bit quicker. So we've got the Sega 32X. I mean, there's all these descriptions here. You can read all this for yourself. Pause if you want to read any descriptions. But yeah, Sega Mega Drive there, 2100 games. Sega Game Gear, oh yeah, that's the handheld one in it. Sega Genesis Hacks, 71 games. Genesis again. Yeah, I love playing Streets of Rage. Japanese Mega Drive, looking at that. Atomic Wave has 7 games. I don't know what Open Bore is. Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Nintendo 64. Now, was it on Nintendo 64 where I found? Yes, it was. Let me nip through here and I'll show you which game it was. I played that because I saw Wiki Gamer was playing it all the time. It was a little bit glitchy, just a really little bit, but like not in any bad way. Like I really enjoyed playing it. It made me want to play even more. You just basically just bulldoze crap down and this, you know, it's just really good. Yeah, really good game. Enjoyed it. Yeah, it was that one. Cruising USA. Again, Wiki Gamer always mentions it, and it played absolutely fine. Can be hard in lots of ways. It's like quite fast turning and stuff, and I was just really enjoying it, and then it just stopped dead, like on a corner somewhere, and I was like, I got first place on every race up to like the 4th one, and I had to just reset the whole system. In fact, I think I just turned it off because it was getting a little bit late last night. So I need Super Nintendo hacks, 380 games on there, SNES, 3,742 games, Super Famicom. This is the hacks, the Nintendo hacks, 2,600, and normal Nintendo. There's actually more on the hacks than there is on that, but I bet there's 3 or 4 of the same games on each one. So you've got 117,000 games on this console, which I'll get to in a second. What's that one? Oh, that's the instructions. This one actually comes with a lot of instructions on how to do things. If you're having troubles with mapping your controller, figuring out what the hotkey is and why you should use it and all sorts. How to add or delete ROMs, how to change the emulator core, how to map the controller, how to recover the emulator system, and how to switch the system between games. A lot of this is quite easy to do, you'll just figure it out, but it's there if you want it. Amiga, so there's stuff there for me, because that's what I grew up on, the Amiga. These are, again, these are your arcade systems. Yulz box. 89 games in there, and then you get your Wonder Swan stuff. Links. Atari, arcade. GX 4000. Again, we're getting onto some consoles I've never heard of, and then all games. 117,700. That's closer to 118,000, isn't it? So a lot to play. PSP minis. I think they're ones like the mini games that you download, a little bit like what you got on your phone. Then you got your PSP games. So I know I've done this in a backwards order. I've missed out a couple of things, didn't I? But I'm back at PlayStation where it began. And 700 games on the PlayStation. For me, this is sort of where I wanted to be at, the PlayStation stuff. Twisted Metal, Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, all of them. So the first, the second, the third, the fourth. For me, it was all about Pro Skater 2 and Twisted Metal. Not bothered about number 1. I grew up on number 2 and number 4. Strangely enough, would somebody tell me what and where Twisted Metal 3 came in? Because I don't ever remember it being a thing. I don't know what else there is to say. I think we'll finish up on the video in here on that one. There's not much else to say. So far, I'm quite happy with this console. But any hiccups, I'll pop it in the comments. I'll pop it down there so you can have a little read of any backups. But this one, I think if you're willing to spend the money, get this one. But maybe begin by getting one of the cheaper ones. So what we'll do is we'll wrap the video up there. There's not much else to say really. My video camera ran out just as I was finishing up on that last console anyway. So you can pretty much see what was going on there. So yeah, there's my pros, my cons, the things I think, what I like, what I don't like. Hope this was a little bit helpful for anybody who's thinking about buying one of those consoles. Like I say, I'd start off with buying one of the cheaper ones first, to see if you like it, and if you do, possibly upgrade and get something a little bit more like the GT King. Hopefully this video was helpful for some of you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave your comments below. We'll see you in the next video. Take care guys. See ya.